Well, hello YouTube, this is Ben, and today I want to demonstrate for you the TC Electronic Bodyrez pedal. This is an acoustic pickup enhancer, and if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been using the Boss 85 as kind of my acoustic preamp, but I've been having some issues with it. Number one, if you are looking for something to run your acoustic guitar through, the Boss 85 is a discontinued product, which means that if you're going to find one, it's going to have to be used, and it's been discontinued for a while, so they're getting a little bit harder to find. Number two, because I got mine used, it's pretty old and I've been having some noise issues with it. And yeah, you can fix that with a noise gate, but I've still been kind of looking for something to replace it with. And I saw the Bodyrez and was kind of intrigued by it, so I decided I'd pick one up and give it a try. And I have to say, I've been pretty impressed. What the Bodyrez does is it takes the sound of the resonance of the body of your acoustic guitar and kind of helps put that back into your sound when you're using an under the saddle pickup. If you've used an under the saddle pickup, you know that they can kind of sound a little sterile. Oftentimes the word quacky is kind of used to describe that sound, and this is really kind of designed to help that with some different just technology that they have built into it. It's a one knob pedal, so it's just how much or how little you want of the effect. And I've found that this is really kind of a knob that you have to adjust to your own taste. I found for me, I like it kind of around the 1:30 to 2 o'clock setting. I will do a little bit, just kind of turning it up and down a little bit, but for the majority of the video, that's kind of where it's going to be set. So what I'm going to do, I'm using my Taylor 110E. I'm going to run it through the Bodyrez and then run it into my HD500, and I'm using that as an interface. So I'm not putting any, to start out with, I'm not using any EQ, any effects. The global EQ setting on it has been turned off. I'm just using it as a way to get the audio from the pickup of my guitar into my computer so I can give you a nice direct recording of the tone. A little bit later in the video, I will add some reverb and some EQ and stuff just to show you what that can do to the sound. But to start off with, all that will be turned off. What I'm going to do, I'm recording this with my iPad, so I'll let you hear, I'm just going to play a simple riff and let you hear it through the mic on the iPad. Then I'm going to let you hear just the pickup from the Taylor through the HD500 without the Bodyrez. Then I'll kick on the Bodyrez so you can hear the difference between the pickup without the Bodyrez and the pickup with it. And then I'll go back and let you hear the sound of the iPad just picking up, you know, the mic on the iPad picking up the sound of the room, so you can compare the pickup with the Bodyrez to the sound from the room. So anyway, I hope this video is beneficial, and let's get started. Alright, so here we go, starting with the mic from the iPad. Let me mute the signal here so you don't hear it. Here we go. Alright, so you can hear that makes a pretty significant difference into the sound. Let me leave it on now, and here's how it sounds again where I have it set. Turn it back just a little. All the way up. So, like I said, for me, kind of that 2 o'clock. That's kind of, for me, where I like to keep it set. Now what I want to do is I'm going to use the Pod HD 500, and I'm going to use, I have an EQ set up on it, and really all I'm doing with the EQ is I'm cutting the mids. I'm cutting about 500 hertz, I'm cutting it about 3 decibels, and that's really the only EQing that I'm doing. I will say also, though, that the because Taylors are kind of bright, which is one of the things that personally I like about them, I do have on the tone knobs on the guitar itself, I do have the highs turned back just a little bit. So I did want to point that out as well. But let me go ahead and kick in the EQ that I have here. Okay, so here is the EQ. I'll let you compare that with and without. So here it is again with. Without. Okay, and now let me throw in some reverb. So this is just a light spring reverb. All right, lastly, what I'm going to show you is, because I'm recording in stereo, the Pod HD 500 runs in stereo. If you're using a stereo setup, a little trick that you can do is delay one side of the tone by a very small amount. So in this case, I'm using just a digital delay. I'm going to delay one side of the tone just 20 milliseconds. And you can hear it kind of widens the stereo sound, kind of widens the space a little bit. So I'm going to kick that on, let you hear that. Okay, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to close out the video. I'm just going to record a loop, and then I'm going to do some lead work over it. When I go do the lead work, I'll kick on that digital delay as well as just an analog delay that I have set to an 1/8 note with the tap tempo there. So I'll go ahead and do that and just play us out. One thing I do want to make mention of, I've used this obviously like this, kind of just testing it out. I also used it at my church. And I will say this is one of those pedals that if you're playing in a band in a mix all the time, it's probably not going to make a huge noticeable difference in your sound. It will a little bit. But if you're doing kind of the singer-songwriter thing where it's just you and your acoustic, I think this works great. And even if you are in a band setting, if you've got songs where you've got some exposed acoustic guitar parts, whether it's the intro of a song or something like that, I think it can make a big difference there. So it's not that it doesn't make a difference in your tone in a band setting, but with everything else going on, you're probably not going to notice it that much. So I did want to just kind of throw that out there and make that comment. So let me go ahead and record a little loop here, and then we'll kick on some effects and have some fun. Here we go.